Hello everyone, my name is Nathan and today it's time for another episode of Oxygen Not Included. Slowly but surely I feel like it's time to move a couple of my setups to a more permanent location. More specifically, I'm talking about liquid storage as well as my stone hatchlings. As for my critter farms, I figured we might be able to sacrifice a little bit of the biome here, set up stone hatchling farms. That's just what we have to do, seeing that we have 4 volcanoes and therefore an endless supply of coal. We could then go ahead, stack up a couple of farms, maybe move the Glossy Draco farm. And then as for my water sources, I would like them to move all the way down here. And I would like to have a ginormous tank for water and a ginormous tank for polluted water. And then we can stack on top of them smaller tanks for other liquids we might want to store in the future. The thing is, I would like to start down here at this line, so that is going to be a little bit tricky and we might want to go ahead excavate this first. Oh, holy cow, I regret doing that. So we have to be a little bit more precise. But yeah, the first task is going to be to excavate this all, set up the sandstone layer, and then we want to decide on the material to surround it. We have an enormous amount of granite, I'm just going to go with that. We will be able to have this directly adjacent to our sandstone layer, and I'm not going to do it here at the bottom so we can first build everything else. But how large do we want to make this really? Let me see, how large would this be? 27 tiles in height. Also, we should account for the airflow tiles that I'm going to build out of iron. So basically there's also going to be a layer of airflow tiles, and as of this point we can count, let's say 30 tiles. Airflow tile here, and now I know the height of my tank. And we're gonna make it about 20 tiles in width, though this could be a little bit too large. And we would enter right there. For now, let's build just a bunch of support ladders, try to get some of this stuff done. At the same time, I'm still building the power spine. This is just gonna be an ongoing project. I know this is sometimes a lot of back and forth in my episodes, but I just had a much better idea. We should make something that actually indicates how much water and polluted water we have in a much cooler way. So let's say we make something that is much more narrow. However, we're also going to stack up liquid reservoirs so we can store much more. And then we'll have like a thermometer sort of thing. And the higher it gets, the more we have. I'm just really curious to test this out. Let's say we want to be able to have 2 pumps, so we need at least 4 spaces. And then the tank area is going to be quite tall. Let's say we go up to 50 blocks, sure. Geez, once this is built, we will never be able to access it anymore. So we'll have to be really careful about what we do. But essentially, above the pumps, we're going to have mesh tiles, like so. And on the mesh tiles we're gonna have our liquid reservoirs. And then we're just gonna stack them up wherever we can and daisy chain them. The pumps are gonna directly pump into the reservoirs, and the last reservoir is going to ditch the waters wherever we need. Finally, if all the reservoirs are full, we will be starting to fill up the tank, and therefore we can see when we are at the maximum. Then we can have polluted water right next to it. Geez, I messed that one up. But yeah, you get my basic point. This is going to be much cooler, in my opinion. Of course, it's going to require way more resources, but what you going to do? Let's remove all of that. We need to get some scaffolding in place. Oh geez, this is going to be a nightmare to build. Well, only really partially, because the dupes are always all over the place. I do have enough building projects lined up. So let me just make a little bit of progress here, and I'm going to be right back. Yeah, I'm going to have to cancel some of that. See you in a second. Alrighty, I developed the concept a little bit. You can see the power spine is now completed, more or less, including the power cable, by the way. This did cost a lot of iron. However, this is my first permanent liquid storage for the water. Next to it, we're gonna build one for the polluted water, and I want to keep them separate with their own transit tube access point in case we need to maintain anything. Once the wallpaper mod is working again, I'm gonna wall all of these up, but I'm gonna give them a couple more days in order to update. So I ended up making things a little bit bigger. It's always better when you can access things and maintain them. Since we're gonna working internally in this system, normal pipes are gonna do. We're also gonna go with granite this time around, and we just need to daisy chain them. So from the pumps we want to go into the liquid reservoirs, and then we just need to do something like that. And I think it's enough. If we daisy chain the individual rows, we don't really need to connect them together to share the liquids. This should definitely be enough storage in order to account for a mega base, and we have 2 full outputs. Maybe there's gonna come a time where we need more than 2 full outputs, then I can just stack another contraption on top of this. Actually, do I have the space for that? Let me see. This is 58 tiles plus... okay, this could be close. Yeah, we couldn't stack it twice. That kind of bothers me. So let's say instead of 12 tanks, we are just gonna do 10. And then we have space to stack it up. So I will have to move everything a little bit down. That is absolutely fine. But yeah, you get the basic gist. We now want to do the same thing for the polluted water storage. And then I guess once that's done, we can go from there. I'm not quite yet gonna connect everything together. This is just in preparation for once we disassemble the entirety of the starter base. And that is a fundamental part of the mega base out of the way. At this point, I wish I had the blueprints mod to just copy things over. But in celebration of this monumental build, let's just go ahead and build it manually. There would be my airflow tiles layer, so I first have to build this. Want to make sure my dupes can reach everything. However, we can do this airflow layer, and then right on top of here is where I'm gonna have my transit tube access point. Same thing right here on the left side. We need 2 transit tubes at least before we can set up a crossing. Jeez. Come on! And then we can go ahead and close this off. Okay, maybe let's give them a hint to speed things up here on the top portion, and we can make the modifications. We can also already set up all the mesh tiles. Yeah, the second build here is gonna go a little bit smoother, except that I trapped Camille. Whoops, there we go. We can start to fix things on the other side as well. And then we're gonna waste a whole bunch of iron for the liquid reservoirs. The good thing is, because we have a whole bunch of dupes supplying the materials, if we speed things up, everyone is gonna help supplying. And then Camille can just swoop in and start to build everything. Devon, of course, also always at the front, even though they are not the fastest. But Camille is just rocking it. I cannot even keep up. By the way, I'm so happy that we have still a decent frame rate. I mean, it hasn't lowered at all. It's still 60 FPS. And I know we are not quite as far as you could be at cycle 619. However, I want to make sure that I don't skip the ultimate base part by just rushing things. And now currently that our colony is sustainable and basically I don't have to care about anything except killing the Dracos here. That is something I will have to change. We are also making way more than enough plastics. So I might make it easier on me once we move the farm. And oh, I just see we now need to actually cool things down here. Okay, let's do that. Oh no. My geysers of course have to be dormant right now. Geyser is going to be active in 12 cycles and they are starving 6 cycles until death. Okay. Okay, I guess it doesn't matter. We can resupply the farm. Okay, so I do not have to hurry up. If they die and we are going to resupply them. But basically we're gonna take that pipe and cool things down a little bit. And the suggestion was to actually exchange these 2 tiles. So we're gonna deconstruct this one. Gonna take a metal tile, iron should be cool. And then we're gonna build 2 tiles on either side to cool things down. The cooling effect shouldn't be too great. I'm actually gonna test granite pipes. So right here, a granite pipe that is also gonna share a little bit of chill. Then I'm gonna take some insulated piping and right here another granite pipe, and we make our way back with insulated piping again. So the loop is just gonna take a little detour. Gonna need a little scaffolding to build this. All cool. Yeah, but I fear most of these guys are actually doomed. How unfortunate. I was getting sick of the old bunch anyways. It's time for some fresh blood around here. Oh, we might actually be able to make them survive. Some of the mealwood just came back from the dead. But yeah, I think we can just leave this running. As soon as the cool salt slush geyser becomes active again, we should cool this down significantly. And we can go all the way down to 10 degrees, which I don't think it's gonna get. If it gets too cool, I'm gonna exchange the metal tiles with normal tiles, so we still have multiple options to adjust it. This is gonna be great. I can't wait to actually fill all of this up. But now we also have to do some building here on the top. Namely, we need a transit tube. Let's see, maybe we connect them here together. So we come up here, turn around, and then here we join together with this guy. Should be possible. Yeah, actually thinking about it, I might want to move the transit tube all the way over. Otherwise, I don't know what I want to do with this space. So we're gonna have it here. I think that's gonna be better. And then connect you like so. Yes, I think this was a good decision because now we have 2 spaces for any kind of thing we might want to place. It just feels better, even though I might not even need it for anything. Time to set up the pumps as well as some more liquid reservoirs, and then all we're missing here is the piping. And I can even do that without the reservoirs, of course. Now, one thing we shouldn't forget is to actually set up a vent. So this here is going to be the line where I want my liquid to stop, and therefore this is where we set up the liquid vent. I just love when my duplicates work together like this. Feels absolutely phenomenal. Go, 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 go. Great stuff. Alrighty, here we are with the 2 modules. I'm still cleaning some stuff up. I also decided to pump things out because I had an idea how we could actually measure the amount of liquid we have in here. First and foremost, we need some automation to measure how much we have in the storages. The reservoirs send out a green signal when it is less than the low threshold. So basically, since we have 10 sets of tanks, we can measure it in 10 percentages. Meaning if we have filled up the first 2 tanks, we have 10%, and then if we have filled up the last 2 tanks, we have 100%. Additionally, once all the tanks are full, we have this liquid accumulating right here, and this is what I'm gonna call my active liquid, and everything we have in the tanks is the backup liquid. In order to measure the liquid not inside the reservoirs, we can basically have a certain amount of gas in here, and then the higher it gets compressed, the more liquid we have in there. We could then, for instance, set up 3 sensors here on the top measuring 0%, 50% and 100%. This is also why I'm currently pumping out everything. I would like to fill up this room with hydrogen. Before I forget to mention it, I'm using airflow tiles here in order to not risk overpressure. Also, it's not good that we have some water in this airflow tile, so I'm gonna exchange it in order to delete the water or push it over. Oh, do we have brine in here? Okay, that's the reason. Yeah, we should only have 1 liquid in here, but that's a mess anyways. So maybe for now it would be a good idea to just get rid of it. I'm gonna bring this over here and let it drop down. Okay, and we can actually already connect this. I just set up 1 large transformer, but I'm not sure that's gonna be enough. If we want to do the trick with the gas pressure to measure the amount of liquid we have to separate the tanks again, and that means I have to power up the transit tubes differently. But yeah, right now my goal is just to pump things up, and then we're gonna dump it here, and on the left side we're gonna start to store it. I also already built the input pipes for both of the liquids, and look at that, if I scroll a little bit to the right, it's more or less lining up with our system. So I'm actually gonna keep on building these pipes. We can then just hook them up to our water supply, which apparently right now is completely full. The top one here is going to be responsible for the water, so let's go ahead and hook that up right here, and I think we can just cut this connection. So now all new water is going to go into that storage. And honestly, we can probably do the same thing here with the polluted water. When it's coming out, it can go into this direction. So I'm also going to cut this, and since there's nothing in the pipes, we can already get rid of them. Whew. So that's actually 1 ginormous pipe out of the way. Oh, somebody's pooping. Who is it? Otto. Using laboratory. Just call it what it is. You're taking a crap. Anyways, in preparation for this build, I'm already starting to unlock computing with the XOR gate. This time around, I'm pretty sure we're gonna need it. Also, I just noticed I don't have enough power. What's the hold up? Oh, did we overload this? Ah, yes, of course. So I'm definitely gonna need 2 large power transformers, but we can do it. These are only temporary. Eventually they're gonna move into the power spine, but I'm not quite ready for that yet, so I'm just gonna do that. You get power from here, and then wait. Deliver it there. This is actually also gonna solve our problem of the transit tube system overloading the circuit. Maybe a little something we can do about the automation already. Let's think about this. We want to check if both of these liquid reservoirs are full. Then we consider another 10% in our backup storage. Since they send a red signal when they are actually full, we first need to invert those signals. Can I do this conveniently? Like 2 NOT gates. Now we have 2 separate signals inverted, so they should be green when the tanks are full. We only want to count the 10% if both of them are full, so we need an AND gate, and I'm gonna place that right here, I think. Yes. One can go into this input, and oh no, that's a mistake. This guy needs to go into this input, and the other one can hop over like so, and then go into this input. We then continue the signal here, and this is where the XOR gate, I think, is gonna come in. Oh no, this is gonna be... Wait. Can I even hook this up? The thing is, let's assume this goes to a notifier, and then it says it's 10%. We need a way to kind of disable that notification when we reach 20%. So basically the output of the automation here should go ahead and disable this signal, while at the same time enabling a notifier here that says 20%. So I think this is still possible. Yeah, I'm actually gonna go ahead and build it like this, and then we just need to wait for the technology to be researched. By the way, I gathered your criticism about this. There are a couple of things we are still gonna change, don't worry about that. However, one thing that stood out to me was the automation of the rat bolt generator. Right now, I'm basically disabling it with a signal switch. However, something I did not notice is the automation output of the material study. This sends a green signal when its rat bolt storage is full. I mean, we don't even need that switch. That's like the easiest fix ever. We're gonna do that right away. Let's drag a cabling over here. And what we want to do is go into a NOT gate, because of course we want to send a red signal when the machine is full. And then we connect this and we can get rid of that. Gonna have to temporarily remove the plastic tile here. But yeah, I figured that is a much more elegant solution. Also a few other things we're gonna change, but that was something I wanted to do immediately. I messed this up a little bit with the power. That is my bad. We're just gonna have to pump things out again. Totally fine. There we go. Automation is now in place. We're gonna collect 100 rat bolts. As a matter of fact, yeah, there we go. We're gonna shoot those rat bolts into the machine, and then hopefully it's gonna send a green signal, even if it is 99.2. That is something I would like to check. Wonderful. We are just done with the research. I noticed something. The material study does not turn off or already send the signal at 99.2, but then I just figured we could raise the amount of rat bolts we shoot by 1. It is still a little bit more wasteful than managing it yourself, because, you know, you're not always gonna use up the 100 rat bolts. But still, the more automated the better, even if we waste a tiny amount. With that out of the way, we can get back to our automation. I already set up all the automated notifiers we're gonna need. There are 10 per module, that's good. And I also removed a little bit of ladder here because I would like to install a hydro sensor. These are just to ensure that the pumps are not running all the time. The automation we see here is only to check if both liquid reservoirs are full, and if they are full, we wanna send it to the first input of the XOR gate. And that's gonna be right there. The XOR gate is basically sending a signal as long as only one input is active. If both inputs are enabled or disabled, it is not gonna send a signal, only one. So this should go to the notifier. Then we have to do a similar setup for the lower portion. Let's try to do the same thing here. Get that AND gate and a bridge, like so. Another cable to connect that and that. We need the XOR gate here, going to the notifier. However, there are second inputs. Let me think. Geez, we don't have enough space for this. If the second row here is active, we want to shut down the first row. So this signal that should be active to activate the notifier is then also gonna have to go to this other input of the XOR gate. So now only this notifier is active and this one will have shut down. Oops, almost forgot this cable. Now if we continue this tail and the third row becomes active, it should then disable this guy, and if we disable this guy, then maybe this notification is gonna turn on again. We probably would have to introduce an OR gate. It's not convenient, to say the least. Well, it's actually not that inconvenient. We could just go into the first input here. Actually, even better. Jeez. Give me back that XOR gate. We go into the notifier and then the first input of the OR gate. And then the next machine right here would continue into that, but also come with an OR gate. Oh geez, I'm building things out of different materials. That's not good. But I'm still just coming up with the concept. This actually might work because we have all these OR things. Yeah. And then I still don't activate the previous notifiers. this is another use for an OR gate. Let me just go ahead and actually complete the automation for one of these modules, and then we can see if that kind of works. But I want to cancel everything and make sure I build them out of the same materials. Okay, I think it is actually working. We have to get the system running because I'm wasting a little bit of water right now. But it does look more complicated than it is. It's just because of the ports. I will build it once more, a little bit more elegantly. I just took you with me on the journey of actually planning this out. But as you can see, out of the automated notifiers we already have installed, only one is green. And that is because those two guys are full, but the next two guys aren't full. So it's doing exactly what I wanted it to do. And every time the notifiers turn green, they will send a signal. I set this up for water backup 30%, and then it's just gonna pop up over here, notifying me when we reached it. However, the same thing is gonna happen when we go into the other direction. So we can not only gain 10%, we can also lose 10%, and I'm gonna be notified about that as well. So this is absolutely phenomenal. We're gonna connect this, and then it's just gonna keep on pumping, and then shortly we should be able to witness another one of these getting full, and therefore it's gonna switch to this notifier being active and this one being off. And so we can only daisy chain it. It does look more complicated than it is. But I'm gonna take you through one or two more. I just wanna see this happen now as the reservoir fills up. Now, of course, if we do it like so, we might want to make sure they share the liquids a little bit better. We could easily accomplish this with bridges. Yeah, this might even be quite convenient. So if we have a bridge facing into this direction and another one facing into the other direction, then they're just gonna share the liquids, right? But of course, now with the notifications, I want to make sure we kind of spread things evenly. Also, maybe we should set up the hydro sensors. I want above 900 kilograms before we start pumping. And then I also want to make sure we get the output of the brine into this line. So I don't want to store this in the starter base anymore. That is another pipe we can get rid of. Wonderful. Maybe while we're waiting for some water to accumulate again, I can show you the build once again now that I know what I'm doing. We want to invert the signals of the liquid reservoirs. We want to check if both reservoirs are full, so we need an AND gate that we're going to place right here. We invert those signals, and then we get to the inputs of the AND gate. Little bridge right there to accomplish this. Then we need an XOR gate, which is only going to send out a signal if both inputs are different. I want to hook the AND gate up to the first input. And look at that, water backup 30%. Oh geez, it actually worked. So that means now this notifier just went active because those reservoirs are full. And now I know I have 30% backup. Oh my gosh, I love it. It is so unnecessary, but it is ultimate. Anyways, we went from the AND gate to the first input of the XOR gate. This XOR gate is then going to activate the notifier. The second input we're going to reserve in case these liquid reservoirs are full. Then we want to send a signal to the second input. Therefore, both inputs are going to be the same and this notifier is going to shut off again. So the first round here is a little bit easier because we don't need to account for everything else that comes after this. But let's do this one more time. We have our NOT gates here. Then we want to connect to our AND gate. Give me that right there. Little bridge, a little XOR gate, then we want to connect that, and the XOR gate goes to the notifier. Now with this output, we want to go directly into the input of the XOR gate of the previous liquid reservoirs. However, considering there's going to be a next and a next reservoir, we're going to need OR gates. The OR gate is going to go right there. So all I have to do is go from the notifier here directly into the first input. The second input is then going to come from the next OR gate. And then this OR gate is going to go into the second input of the XOR gate. And with that out of the way, we can just keep on daisy chaining this. So I could go ahead and copy this over for the lower contraptions. All we have to consider is that this OR gate from the next contraption is then going to connect to the input of the previous OR gate. I think it's pretty straightforward, and it's just taking care of everything, making sure only one notifier is active and also making sure I can see the development in both directions. So whether we accumulate water or we lose water, I'm always going to be notified, and I think this just stays up for a little while and then it goes away. Yeah, there, it just went away. Yeah, I actually love it. This is a great implementation. The only problem is it thinks there are overlapping ports, but you clearly saw there are no overlapping ports. I mean, this is just simply not true. So I wonder if I could just go ahead and suppress these. I mean, it's working, right? So, game, you're wrong. You don't know what overlapping ports means. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna try to ignore that, just suppress the warning, and everything is gonna be fine. But yeah, I would say with that out of the way, we can be happy with today's accomplishments. We now have a proper storage with proper automation. It is not cheesy or infinite, so I'm also happy about that, and I'm pretty sure FPS wise this is gonna be better. But yeah guys, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. Have a great time and see you in the next video. Bye bye.